terrifying moment. Ukrainian HIMARS strike destroys Russian troops and armored vehicles in Bakhmut. Since last year, Ukrainian forces have used HIMARS and other Western artillery to devastate Russian forces, including supply dumps and command posts with pinpoint strikes. Combat footage from Ukraine has emerged showing the devastating moment. Kyiv's artillery struck its Russian counterpart, resulting in a fiery explosion. The unedited video was reportedly captured on the Zaporizhzhia front, where Ukrainian and Russian forces have been fighting heavily for several months. Ukraine's artillery strikes what appears to be a Russian Tu-S-3 Akatsiya, 150mm self-propelled howitzer with a HIMARS supply truck, according to the open-source intelligence account Ukraine Weapons Tracker. In the footage, Russian troops can be seen standing around the weapon and its supply truck before a shell hits the Russian gun, sending a circle of lethal shrapnel flying around the weapon. Although the video is unconfirmed, the shrapnel and pinpoint accuracy of the strike has led some to suggest the shell was launched by a US-made HIMARS, which Ukraine has used to devastating effect since they were provided by America last year. Following the strike, at least some of the Russian troops survived. One can be seen running back toward the scene of the carnage before a secondary explosion. Possibly the supply truck's ordnance cooking off engulfs the area in flames. The video highlights the brutal fighting on the Zaporizhzhia front as Ukraine pushes its counter-offensive there. Last month, Ukrainian forces captured the village of Robotyne in Zaporizhzhia and have been attempting to widen a breach in Russian defenses there. Although some Ukrainian armor has been pictured battling behind Russia's defensive line in the area, fighting is ongoing, with Russia reportedly counterattacking and retaking lost positions, according to the Institute for the Study of War, a US-based think tank covering the war in Ukraine. In an update on X, the ISW said, Ukrainian forces continued offensive operations in western Zaporizhzhia Oblast on October 4th and made confirmed gains east of Novoprokopivka. Russian forces continued counterattacking in the area on October 4th and reportedly regained some lost positions. Novoprokopivka is a settlement south of the village of Robotyne. The fighting on the southern front has reportedly forced Russian forces to move troops from the east, where Ukraine appears to be having some successes on the battlefield. Ukraine's general staff claimed that Kyiv's troops continued assaults south of Bakhmut, gaining ground near the recaptured settlements of Klishchivka and Andriivka. The number of Russian troops killed since the start of Moscow's invasion of Ukraine has passed 280,000, according to a Thursday announcement from the Ukrainian armed forces. The updated tally comes as a Kyiv military spokesperson told local media that Russia has recently been intensifying its attacks on the front line in Ukraine's eastern regions of Kharkiv, Donetsk, and Luhansk. The death toll for Russian soldiers was reported by the General Staff of Ukraine's Armed Forces, which said Moscow has lost 280,470 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of the war, which Russian President Vladimir Putin launched on February 24, 2022. Media has not been able to independently verify Ukraine's tally, and other estimates tend to be more conservative than Kyiv's. The Kremlin does not frequently comment on its own estimates of troop casualties, and when it does, experts have said its numbers are not accurate. Based on Ukraine's data, Russia's personnel losses reached 280,470 troops, which includes 3,150 lost in the past week, as Putin's forces have reportedly increased the ferocity of their attacks after suffering multiple battlefield setbacks against Kyiv's ongoing counteroffensive. Ilya Yevlash, a spokesperson for Kyiv's eastern grouping of forces, appeared Thursday on a daily news program on Ukraine's 1+1 TV channel, where he discussed the increase of Russian strikes around the cities of Lyman in the Donetsk region and Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region. Lyman and Kupiansk had already been the sites of heavy Russian offensives since the summer. Yevlash reported in late August that Putin's forces had dedicated more than 100,000 troops and thousands of pieces of equipment in the Lyman-Kupiansk direction, according to news outlet Ukrainska Pravda. Yevlash said on Thursday that in addition to increased attacks on the front line in the Lyman-Kupiansk area, Russia's military had seemingly turned its focus to Makiivka, according to an English translation by the Kyiv Independent, an online newspaper. A village in Luhansk region, Makiivka is located approximately 19 miles north of Lyman and 37 miles south of Kupiansk.